Probably neither. I believe that, right now we have some very challenging times and the U.S. is a little sluggish, but going forward, we're optimistic, but we're cautious.
Winnie, I'm curious about some of the high valuations we're seeing in the private markets, some of the exciting names that are over there versus the opportunities here in the publicly traded space. Do you think at all that there's a lack of good opportunities?
Well, Kelly, there's never a lack of opportunity. If you have money, if there's money to buy, there's opportunity. But right now, for us here in California, we feel very comfortable with the story of technology. We saw some weakness yesterday, but long term, that's a space that we're very bullish on.
Even the social media names, Winnie, some of the ones that really got hit there, you don't think that's the end of some kind of trend?
Well, LinkedIn got hurt a little bit this week, but long term, at the end of the day, social capital is extremely valuable, as you and I know, and people are communicating and watching news differently. We saw that with telecom, with Verizon's news recently and Fios, but in this day and age, social media, they'll figure out a way to capitalize.
Kenny Polcari, as we head toward the close here, do you want to see more strength in it? What are you doing with this market? Are you going to? I'll ask you basically the same question I asked Winnie. Do you believe yesterday's sell-off or today's rally?
I believe yesterday's sell-off, I think, is where we're really going to go. I think we're challenged up here. I think we're going to hit resistance once again as we challenge the highs. I don't think the market's ready yet, right? I don't think the economy's ready yet. All the data we're seeing continues to be weak, and even though I agree we're going to make a slow recovery, I think the market is still challenging. It needs to let the economy catch up. I got to just say one other thing about when you talk about stocks like LinkedIn. First of all, you got to understand there's not a lot of capitalization on LinkedIn in terms of shares outstanding. It's a $200 name, and so the moves that you see in a stock like LinkedIn are really exaggerated just because of stock outstanding, right? There's not a lot, so not a lot of float, and so therefore it creates even more volatile moves. And I think people need to be aware of that.
Kenny, it's a great point. Beth Ann, we'll just give you the final word here. Wanted to be clear what you were saying about payrolls. What's your estimate for that big number when it comes out?
We're looking something over 200,000, probably around 225,000. Again, that would be certainly a nice reprieve from what we saw in March.
It would.
Yes.
Thanks,
maybe they'll revise March up a little bit. That would help as well. That abysmal number we had there. Thanks, folks. Good to see you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With a little under 50 minutes to go into the close now, we are seeing gains across the board and some key levels to watch. The Dow back above 18,000 at the moment. The S&P back above 2,100. The Nasdaq just about 2.5 points away from being back above 5,000. And up next is Elon Musk's Tesla transforming into more of a battery company than an electric car maker. Philip O will join us again, plugging into the new line of Tesla's future.
Plus, we're going to get reaction to that from Generac's CEO. That's a direct competitor in the power generation space. They've had a tough week, too. Earnings disappointed, stock down hard. But we'll talk with Aaron Jagenfeld coming up a little bit here.
And also ahead, Pawn Star celebrity Rick Harrison, who I interviewed back in Las Vegas. Recently, he'll be here at the New York Stock Exchange. Wait till you hear if he's seeing evidence of today's consumer confidence report showing more Americans are